Look around you. It's in the tires that carry you to work, the soles of the shoes you're wearing, and even the tiny elastic band holding your mail together. From critical medical equipment to the seals in your refrigerator, we live in a world fundamentally shaped by rubber. Its presence is so ubiquitous, so essential, that we often overlook its extraordinary origins and profound global impact. But where does this indispensable material truly come from? It's not a mineral dug from the earth, nor for most of its history was it something synthesized in a lab. It is, in essence, the blood of a tree, a sticky, white liquid that was once revered as a divine gift by ancient civilizations, then became the source of unimaginable wealth and brutal exploitation, and ultimately, the silent catalyst for a global industrial revolution. Today, we're embarking on an incredible journey through the history of natural rubber. From the ancient cultures that first harnessed its unique properties, to the desperate inventor who stumbled upon its transformation, and the daring act of bio-piracy that forever reshaped global geopolitics and economies. Our story begins thousands of years ago, long before Europeans even conceived of the Americas. In the dense jungles of Mesoamerica, indigenous peoples had already developed a sophisticated understanding of this weeping wood. The very name Olmec, one of the oldest and most influential civilizations in ancient Mexico, translates to people of rubber, a testament to their deep connection with this remarkable resource. As early as 1600 BC, these ingenious civilizations were expertly harvesting latex from the Castilla elastica tree. Their uses for rubber extended far beyond simple utility. They crafted waterproof footwear, created resilient containers, and even developed advanced adhesives. But perhaps their most iconic application was in sport. The famous Mesoamerican ball game, a ritualistic and often deadly contest, featured solid rubber balls, some weighing up to 9 pounds. Imagine the sheer elasticity and bounce of such a ball in a world where the wheel itself was yet to be invented. This was a material that defied all known properties to the European mind. It was during his second voyage to the Americas, around 1493, that Christopher Columbus first encountered these mysterious bouncing objects in Haiti. He observed locals playing with what he described as bouncing stones, a phenomenon utterly baffling to him and his crew. In Europe, balls were typically made of leather stuffed with feathers or air, offering little to no inherent bounce. A ball that rebounded on its own seemed like pure magic, or perhaps even a dark art. Despite these early encounters, it wasn't until the 18th century that rubber truly captured the attention of European scientific circles. In 1736, French explorer and naturalist Charles Marie de la Condamine, during an expedition to South America, sent detailed reports and samples of this peculiar substance back to the Académie Royale des Sciences in Paris. He referred to it as caoutchouc, a term derived from the indigenous Quechua words caoutchouc, meaning, quite poetically, weeping wood. This marked the beginning of serious scientific inquiry into rubber, though its practical application remained elusive. For decades, European scientists and entrepreneurs were captivated by caoutchouc. It possessed incredible properties. It was waterproof, remarkably flexible, and airtight. It seemed like a miracle material destined to revolutionize countless industries. Yet, it harbored a devastating fatal flaw. It was incredibly temperamental and unstable under varying temperatures. In the sweltering heat of summer, a rubberized coat or boot would transform into a sticky, malodorous, and utterly useless puddle of goo. Conversely, in the biting cold of winter, that same rubber would become as rigid and brittle as glass, shattering with the slightest impact or attempt to bend it. For nearly half a century, a rubber remained a tantalizing miracle material that, despite its potential, was practically unusable for any enduring application. Enter Charles Goodyear, a figure whose name would become synonymous with rubber itself. Goodyear was no scientist. He was a bankrupt hardware merchant from Connecticut, driven by an almost fanatical obsession to tame this unruly substance. He dedicated years of his life, often at the expense of his family's well-being, to curing rubber. He experimented relentlessly, mixing it with virtually everything imaginable: salt, pepper, sugar, even soup. His relentless pursuit led him to debtor's prison multiple times, His family often faced starvation, and many in society dismissed him as an eccentric, if not outright insane, individual. Then, in the winter of 1839, after years of relentless failure, came the serendipitous, lucky accident that would change the world. Goodyear, in a moment of frustration or perhaps carelessness, accidentally dropped a mixture of rubber and sulfur onto a hot stove. Instead of melting into its usual sticky mess, the rubber charred like leather, yet astonishingly, it remained flexible and resilient. He had discovered vulcanization, a process he later named after Vulcan, the Roman god of fire. By precisely adding heat and sulfur, he had chemically cross-linked and permanently stabilized the molecular chains of the rubber. This breakthrough transformed rubber from a scientific curiosity into a practical, durable material, finally paving the way for the modern industrial age. With Goodyear's discovery, the demand for rubber exploded globally. Suddenly, this once temperamental material was vital for everything from machinery belts to waterproof clothing. And at that time, there was only one place on Earth where the finest rubber trees, the Hevea brasiliensis, the source of the highest quality latex, grew naturally: the vast, untamed Amazon rainforest. This insatiable demand ignited the infamous Amazon rubber boom. Cities like Manaus in Brazil and Iquitos in Peru transformed almost overnight into some of the wealthiest urban centers in the world. Rubber barons, flush with unimaginable riches, indulged in extravagant luxuries. Legend has it they sent their laundry to Paris to be cleaned and lit their cigars with $100 bills. They constructed monumental architectural marvels, such as the magnificent Manaus Opera House, importing marble from Italy, glass from France, and even iron from Scotland, all in the heart of the jungle. However, this dazzling prosperity was built upon a foundation of horrific human suffering and exploitation. To meet the escalating global demand, rubber companies enslaved tens of thousands of indigenous people across the Amazon basin. The infamous Putumayo atrocities became a global scandal, exposing a brutal system where workers were subjected to unimaginable torture, mutilation, and murder if they failed to meet their daily quotas. The weeping wood of the Amazon was now literally weeping blood, staining the hands of those who profited from its bounty. Brazil, fiercely protective of its lucrative monopoly, enacted strict laws making the export of rubber seeds a crime punishable by death. They understood the immense value of their natural resource. But the burgeoning British Empire, ever keen on expanding its colonial reach and economic power, desperately wanted to break this monopoly. In 1876, a controversial figure named Henry Wickham, an English explorer and planter, played a pivotal role in one of history's most audacious acts of bio-piracy. He claimed to be transporting botanical specimens for Queen Victoria. In reality, he had meticulously collected and smuggled approximately 70,000 Hevea brasiliensis seeds onto a steamship bound for England. Upon their arrival in London, the precious seeds were immediately rushed to the Royal Botanic Gardens at Kew, a world-renowned center for botanical research. There, under controlled conditions, a significant number of them successfully germinated. The resulting saplings were then carefully cultivated and shipped to British colonies in Southeast Asia, particularly Malaysia, Indonesia, and Sri Lanka. Within a mere few decades, these strategically planted rubber estates flourished, effectively ending the Amazon rubber boom and shifting the global center of natural rubber production. To this day, over 90% of the world's natural rubber originates from these vast, orderly plantations in Asia, a direct legacy of Wickham's controversial exploit. So, how do we actually extract this vital raw material from the Hevea brasiliensis tree today? It all begins with a meticulous process known as tapping. This isn't just randomly cutting the tree. It's a carefully executed agricultural practice. It's crucial to understand that latex is not the tree's sap. Sap is the watery fluid that transports nutrients throughout the tree's vascular system. Latex, on the other hand, is a milky white colloidal suspension found in a separate, intricate network of specialized vessels located just beneath the bark. It serves as the tree's natural defense mechanism. When the tree is wounded, the sticky latex oozes out, sealing the injury and deterring pests and pathogens. During tapping, a skilled worker, known as a tapper, makes a precise, shallow incision, typically a diagonal cut or a V-shape, just deep enough to sever the latex vessels without harming the delicate cambium layer, which is vital for the tree's growth. The milky white latex then slowly drips down the cut into a small collection cup, usually over several hours. A single tree, tapped every other day, produces only about a cupful of latex per session, which contains roughly 30% rubber solids and 70% water. Once collected, the raw liquid latex is transported to a processing center. Here, it undergoes its first major transformation: coagulation. A weak acid, most commonly formic acid, is added to the latex. This causes the microscopic rubber particles, which are suspended in the water, to destabilize and clump together, separating from the liquid phase. Think of it as a controlled curdling process, similar to how milk separates into curds and whey when making cheese. The resulting wet, spongy clumps of rubber are then fed through a series of heavy rollers. These rollers serve two purposes. They squeeze out the remaining water, compacting the rubber, and simultaneously flatten it into continuous sheets. This mechanical processing further refines the rubber's consistency. Traditionally, and still commonly today, these sheets are then hung in specialized smoke houses for several days. The smoke, often from burning wood, serves a critical function. It dries the rubber, prevents the growth of mold and bacteria, and imparts a distinctive brownish color and smoky aroma. The final product from this stage is known as ribbed smoke sheets, or RSS. These sheets are then graded, baled, and shipped to manufacturing facilities worldwide, ready for their next transformation. At its core, natural rubber is a remarkable polymer called polyisoprene. While humanity has made incredible strides in synthesizing various types of artificial rubbers from petroleum, natural rubber continues to possess a unique combination of properties that we still struggle to
The Amazon
perfectly
basin
replicate.
sprawls across South
Its
America,
exceptional
its dense jungle
elasticity,
stretching for thousands of
superior
miles.
heat
Here, near the
resistance,
upper reaches
and
of the river,
inherent
lies
tact.
Iquitos in Peru.
Its ability to
From deep
adhere
in
to
the
other
Amazon, the
materials
seeds set off across
make
the
it
Atlantic,
indispensable
reaching
for
London on
critical
trading ships.
applications.
From there,
This
merchants
is
carried them
precisely
east
why
through the
tires
Indian
of
Ocean and
airplanes,
into the markets of
heavy-duty
Starting from the
trucks, and
outside, the tree
high-performance
has a
vehicles
tough
are
outer
still
bark.
predominantly
Beneath that is
made
the
from
phloem,
natural
then the
rubber,
thin
where
cambium layer that
safety and
produces new
reliability
cells.
are paramount.
Inside lies
However,
In this dim
the
workshop,
natural rubber
rubber is
industry
cured the
faces
traditional way.
significant
Sheets are hung
challenges.
for days
The
above a slow
monoculture
fire, the
plantations in
smoke
Asia
replacing
are vulnerable
sunlight
to
and wind.
diseases, such as the
Inside the
devastating
smokehouse,
South
rows
American
of rubber
leaf
sheets
blight,
hang in the warm
a
haze.
fungus that could
For
potentially
days, the slow
decimate
burn of
crops
wood
if
and
it
the
ever
passing air
spreads
cure them,
beyond its
deepening
current geographical confines. This threat, coupled with growing environmental concerns regarding deforestation and sustainable practices, is driving intense research into alternative sources. Scientists are actively exploring plants like Russian dandelions and guayuli shrubs, which also produce high-quality latex, as potential future suppliers. From an ancient ball game played in the heart of the jungle to the high-tech tires that enable global commerce and travel, natural rubber has profoundly shaped human history, technology, and daily life in ways we rarely pause to consider. It is a material that bridges millennia, connecting the ancient world to our modern future, all originating from the humble, yet extraordinary, weeping tree. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the fascinating world of natural rubber. If you found this story as captivating as we did, please hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the hidden histories of the materials that define our world. See you in the next one.